No one has joined yet, which means I might not have Wi-Fi.
I got it.
You got it? We have a visitor now, so it looks like it's up and working. Hi, everybody.
Visitor, that sounds so creepy. We have a visitor. It's like ghosts. Well,
You can just click. Yep, here we are.
do we look good?
We always look good, especially me. I have a face for.
Well, folks, we'll be starting our podcast soon. Oh, somebody said nice pigtails.
Thank
That's
you.
probably directed at Lindsay, not me.
I didn't want to do my hair today, so that's what I did.
For the first time, I'm broadcasting completely in landscape mode. So if you think this looks better than how I've been doing it before, which was always like this, we got a comment last week that we should try it out.
Thank you, I got another hair.
Somebody else likes Lindsay's hair. They might like my hair.
Great, I'm just
Could be
like
better.
not going to wash my hair and just do
There you
this.
go.
This is great.
Okay. Do you want to count down? And do
There's no need for a countdown.
I think there is.
You should really turn on the recorder.
I think there is.
Is the recorder on?
No. We will. We'll count down.
Okay,
I'll turn
then.
the recorder on. All right, gang. Dan Kaplan prefers the old way, by the way.
We'll do it one time this way,
Does
and we'll.
Dan like my hair?
I don't know. Do you like Lindsay's hair, Dan? We got a heart.
There you go. A few hearts, multicolored.
Sweet.
All right. I'm going to start in 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PR Week, PR Week's weekly podcast of everything happening in the worlds of communications and marketing for the week of October 9th. My name is Frank Washcook. I'm the news editor at PR Week, and I'm joined by Lindsay Stein, our senior reporter. Lindsay, how are you?
I'm great.
How's your hair?
I think it's, well, I don't know, how is my hair? I think, isn't it the week of October 2nd?
No, it's the week of October 9th.
Okay.
Tomorrow's October 9th.
Well,
Well, our podcast also is star folks. Diana Bradley is also here. She is our corporate reporter. Diana, thank you for joining us.
thank you. for
Taking
having
time
me.
out of your busy schedule to
Yeah. That's
join
a
us for a
busy
few
work
minutes.
week.
We're going to take things up a notch and talk about some of the big issues in the news. We'll be talking about Volkswagen again for the second straight week. We'll be talking about Alibaba and what they're doing that's new to try to get their brand across to customers in the U.S. We'll be talking about a big move by Goldman Sachs, the blue chip Wall Street firm, and something new they're doing. We'll be talking about a prominent communications executive switching jobs, and we will be talking about possible changes at Twitter and possible changes, actually real life changes as of this week to McDonald's menu. So first of all, Diana, tell us a little bit about what Alibaba is doing that's new and whether you think it works for them.
Sure. So today, Alibaba released their annual report. And as part of that, they created what they're calling a comprehensive digital experience they've named it Alibaba Defined. And it's something that's going to live on their website. They have a blog as well, so it'll kind of live there. And it's designed to help audiences outside of China better understand the company's business model, strategy, and products and services. So I spoke with Alibaba's head of corporate relations, Erica Matthews, today, and she explained that Alibaba Group faces a unique communications challenge because more than 90% of their business is in China. But 90% of the people who decide the conversation about them actually live in the West.
I think this is a smart move by Alibaba.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, I mean, they need to communicate, they need to make people understand what they are. And a lot of people know their name. But
And a lot of people know just about the IPO.
Yeah, and this is actually like exactly a year, I think, after they did that. So
no, it's true. It's all I know about them is the
yeah,
IPO.
it's
You know
confusing.
anything about it?
Yeah, it is confusing, and people refer to them as, I think, like the eBay. Do they say like the Amazon?
The Amazon of China or the
something?
eBay of China.
And it's all incorrect.
And that's not really accurate.
Yeah,
They
it's
do a
totally
lot
not accurate.
different things than that. So.
Yeah, so they've created this site. It has like several categories outlining China context, the Alibaba experience. It has videos, infographics. It has it has like a working mom that they follow around, and it shows how she uses all of their different products. It follows the stories of entrepreneurs that use their services. So it's very, very thorough, and it just, if anybody ever has a question about them, they can go there. They're going to add things to it every quarter, maybe even more often. I think they're still deciding exactly what they're going to do with it in the future, but it'll just be a resource going forward. So I think it's a great idea, and yeah.
I think it's a great idea, but I would be interested to know how they're planning to measure whether or not it works.
Yeah.
Does it actually reach people, and does it actually educate them?
Yeah.
That's my big question about it. Folks out there in Periscope land, we want to remind you can ask us questions, and we will try our best to answer them. Okay, let's talk about another company, this time based in Germany, that's having a crisis issue of its own, the North American CEO of Volkswagen. Michael Horn was on Capitol Hill today, and he apologized sincerely for the company evading emissions regulations. So, Lindsay and Diana, is an apology enough if you're Volkswagen, or do they have to do more to regain people's trust?
We definitely have to do more, and I just mentioned before we started that I saw a headline, I think it was CNN Money, that said that German police they were investigating, went in, I think there was stormed the Volkswagen headquarters. I'm sure they didn't actually storm in, but they're
It adds some dramatic effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, so they're at the headquarters now in
They just
Germany.
walked into the
Broke down doors. It's crazy. But yeah, I think they need to do obviously more. I mean, they already started to do that. They had some executive changes already, and it's going to take a really long time, I think, to.
I like to think about German police storming the headquarters myself. So.
Just makes me think of Stormtroopers.
Right. We'll skip that part of it entirely.
I like how the new CEO is kind of telling the staffers that this will not be painless and things like that.
Right.
Like, I like how he's just kind of being like, look, this sucks. We know we have a lot of work to do.
I think that's probably an understatement. Yeah.
But, they're getting ready for cutbacks and
Big
they're
cutbacks.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely a good start, and he knows that they're being very honest about the fact that they know that the company needs to just pretty much restart itself.
Right, and that's from their headquarters in Germany, but the North American CEO was criticized a lot today for saying that, a few engineers kind of just put the software on there and nobody really knew about it, and so it's going to be interesting to see if they can stay on message, the two CEOs, and actually move the company forward at all.
Sorry, just on a much lesser scale, the whole Cheerios recall this week. I think Cheerios did a great job. I'm actually going to blog about it, but because you're a parent, Cheerios are really popular among kids, right? So the fact that there was this recall and parents are a big audience for them, and parents are very protective of their children. That's a huge deal for a brand like Cheerios, but I think they did a great job because they had their cereal brand president.
And tell us why they did the recall again.
So on their gluten-free cereals, they recalled, I think it was 1.8 million. It was nearly 2 million.
That's a lot of cereal.
The gluten-free labeled boxes, wheat got into some of the boxes during the production in July. So kids who have celiac or other issues would get sick from this. So people were saying that there were gastrointestinal problems. So anyway, I just think the fact that they put a face to it, the blog even has a picture in it, and he wrote personally, in addition to having a statement out there, I think it's better for parents to be able to respond to. And they've been answering every single comment on their Facebook page. They've gotten hundreds of comments. I was really blown away.
Is that effective though?
People seem to ask a lot of questions on Facebook. Yeah.
Customer service.
Yeah, it was really, and it doesn't seem like it's a copy and pasted response either.
Real people answering real questions.
That's what it seemed like.
I was
a revolutionary concept, though. Go ahead.
It is. I don't like the copying and pasting.
Yeah.
I feel like that really makes it kind of less effective.
Yeah.
Even if it's a good message that they're putting out there, when they're obviously just copying and pasting to each comment, I just feel like
Agreed.
I personally don't like talking to robots.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me.
It doesn't.
You don't get the answers you need.
Have you seen Ex Machina?
No.
That's a good one.
Movie recommendations, folks. Ex Machina, recommended by Lindsay Stein. If you don't like it, her email address is lindsay.stein@prweek.com. And if you don't like it, feel free to email her with your comments. Okay, let's talk about what Goldman Sachs did this week. And what they're planning to do, I should say, for their next earnings report. This is really, I think, a bit of a sea change in terms of how big financial firms, especially, release their quarterly earnings. So, Diana, tell us a little bit about this.
Sure. So, Goldman Sachs said that they will now use Twitter and their own website to distribute their next quarterly earnings release instead of traditional news wires. And basically, they just want more control over their earnings results after news release distribution services have had like a number of glitches, and then over the summer there were 32 individuals charged with allegedly hacking the three main newswire services, Business Wire, PR Newswire, and Market Wired. They hacked their press releases and traded on the information before it was made public. So, yeah, there's been several instances where sensitive client information has also been released early. So the reputation of newswire services is at stake, and now companies are looking elsewhere to release their information. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Interesting to see how newswires are going to respond to this.
Yeah, definitely.
One comment that we got emailed to us was that no service is really ever secure, even if it's Twitter or Goldman Sachs, it's digital thing. But it is important to remember that Goldman Sachs isn't a company like most other companies. You know, if they have a bad quarter, it can really drive the market down for a day. So, because they're such an important company and they're doing this, we're going to see how many other companies will follow them. Something to keep an eye on for the next few quarters, I guess. Okay, let's talk about a major executive move in the world of communications. Diana, bring us up to speed on this one.
Sure. So last week, I always say the name wrong, Mondelez International.
As long as you don't say it wrong in Russia, where it means something else entirely.
Oh, really?
Yes, it does.
What is that?
We'll tell you after.
It's not safe for work.
Okay, well...
It was Russia, right?
Okay, I look forward to this. But yeah, they brought on Kraft Foods executive Russ Dyer as VP of Global Communications.
Yay, Russ!
And that is your input.
He's really nice. He's a good executive.
He has now. This is the top communications position at the company that he's taken on. He is responsible for all strategic communications plans and is overseeing global, internal, and external communications activities for the company. He's replaced Sarah Sizer, great name, who recently left the organization. And yeah, he most recently served as Kraft's VP of Corporate Affairs.
Big role. Global role,
that's awesome.
and a new role for them at one of those companies that people might not know what Mondelez is, but they know the brands.
Well,
She
yeah,
may
it's a
not
big
know how
role
to
for them.
pronounce
it's
it.
interesting because the Kraft Mondelez split, and
Right.
he's still kind of with the company in a way. You know?
Right, and he's familiar with them. So.
Yeah, and he had known that his role was going to come to an end once Kraft Heinz became Kraft Heinz when he was at Kraft Foods, so it wasn't even like a huge shock when the Kraft Heinz things went through not that long ago, a month ago.
Let's talk about changes at companies, big companies. So we can talk first about Twitter. They released the Moments part of their app this week. Have either of you guys used it?
Yeah, but it looks cool.
Have you used it, Byron? Byron, how do you feel about Moments?
I think they didn't do a great job explaining how users can use it themselves. It's something that's really cool if you go to and then you see the top stories that are trending on it, and I'm really not sure what else there's to do with it at this point besides that. I looked at the moments on the Syrian refugee crisis, and the way it's strung together videos and tweets by important people, pictures, was quite good. I liked it. I thought that it was displaying the story well. And they do have like a blog post up explaining what it is and how you can use it. So I think it definitely has a lot of potential for aggregating content and telling stories in a more in-depth way, which is surprising on Twitter because most of the time you just get little tiny bits. One picture per post, usually 140 characters, and this is kind of opening up Twitter to being able to tell more in-depth stories than they have before?
I tried to use it last night during the baseball game, just to test it out, and I couldn't quite figure it out on my first try, and I think I was using it incorrectly. So I'm going to look to see if it does get easier to use or they change it very slightly. But it was easy to find the big topics. I will say that.
Do you have to download something or just?
No, it shows up right at the bottom of the Twitter app. Yeah, if you look at the bottom of your app, you'll see it.
I think it's cool that they're going to like partner with media companies like BuzzFeed, and it makes sense. Mashable and whatever.
It does, and it's going to be interesting to see how they use it on the desktop version and things of that nature. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about McDonald's big change this week.
So the moment everyone was waiting for, McDonald's officially launched all-day breakfast, which it tested out in California in April, I think, or May, in the spring. And apparently the test went well because now it's McDonald's breakfast all the time. And are you guys excited about this?
No.
No, you don't like breakfast?
I do, but I should probably pass on McDonald's breakfast.
Yeah, I was kind of upset that the egg white sandwiches aren't going to be available.
They're not?
No? At least not as of now.
What about the egg McMuffin?
The bacon egg cheese biscuit, which is the best.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't had one since I was a kid,
McDonald's biscuit.
Yes.
Which biscuits?
I could pretty much just eat the biscuit.
Yes.
But I really love biscuits. Yeah. Like Popeye's biscuits, KFC.
Same here. Red Lobster.
Yeah. Oh my God, those are too good. Anyway, so McDonald's released the news today, but they literally did it on every channel, and it was really cute the way they were teasing it, like on Instagram on the 4th, or it was Monday the 5th? And they released it on the 6th, right? Yeah. So on on the 4th they put like like they had this thing, the page was about to turn on Instagram. The next day they had like the 5th, and the page was like getting a little more turned. And on the 6th, someone broke through the thing, and there was like a hash brown.
Who broke through?
I don't know.
Was it the
Hamburglar? It could.
That might have been my favorite, and yeah, definitely my favorite McDonald's marketing moment of the past few years was when they introduced like the debonair hamburger.
It's so funny.
I thought that was really funny.
I like they used debonair. A lot of people say creepy.
Debonair. Was he creepy?
I mean, I don't really know.
What's your opinion of the new hamburger?
I thought it was funny.
But was he debonair or creepy?
You should be the hamburger for Halloween. Done. We have his costume.
Listeners, I think Halloween is facile, but if I change my mind, I'll dress as the hamburger.
So even their main contest Spanish language Twitter handle tweeted about it, and what was even more fun was their individual location McDonald's Twitters tweeted about it, and there's so many individual Twitter handles for McDonald's. There's even one in my neighborhood. All the way up by Dykeman Street in Washington Heights. I was shocked. They even tweeted about it.
I feel like that's kind of a problem for McDonald's, though.
I think it's awesome. I think
that's
it's awesome.
a lot of different Twitter accounts.
Yeah, but I think they must be handled by different people because the content was different on each. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think they're copying and pasting and putting the same thing out. I think it's awesome because they're making it more individual to like probably that community or that state, or like it was cute for. I think it was. DC or Atlanta, like they were down the local news station, they were eating the breakfast and they tweeted a picture of them eating breakfast on the air. Like I thought it was like really well done, made it personal, and they basically used every social platform they could, including YouTube. It was really cool.
One of our listeners wants to remind us that social media sprawl, and that's a great term. Social media sprawl is a big security issue for companies.
Oh, like having that many?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's probably hard to and also have the same messaging across all platforms, but, I mean, I just think it's a really good way to engage your local communities.
I just try to avoid fast food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be
clearly
dismissive of an entire marketing segment at once, but I just try to avoid fast food.
Well, they're trying to be healthier.
Yes, they are trying. And you have to give them credit for that, and I think that their chicken wraps are much improved.
And their McDonald's ice cream is low-fat ice cream.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I did not know that. Okay, folks, well, we hope we told you a few things you didn't know before today's podcast. Thanks for joining us again on this edition of the PR Week. We'll see you next week.
So what does Mondelez mean in Russian, if you mispronounce it?
Montes Mondelez, it's not safe for a family. publication like ours.
I see.
Yeah.
But I did write an article about it, and I used safe for work words in my blog.
It's a term for
It was years ago.
it's a term for a sexual act.
Yes. That is what I put.
Yeah.
I put a little more detail in my blog.
It's a term for a
Because that's
sexual
very
act.
vague. There
What?
are many types of sexual activities.
Right.
Bye, Dan.
Right.
Thanks for asking questions. Say goodbye, Diana.
Oh, bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for your questions this week. See you next time.
See ya.